Look at this new camera lens cup that I have. Got my coffee in it. It's great. Welcome back. You may have been wondering where I've been for a little bit. I made a website. The website is going to have all the things that I've been wanting to do for my photography journey and adventure, and hopefully a business soon. It's going to be great. I'm going to post blogs on it. It's going to have tips. It's going to have what you can do on a day that you need to go to get ready for a photo shoot, cover gear, exhibitions of all the work that I've done, and I hope you enjoy it. With that, let's get to the video. Today's video is going to be a great one. We're going to be covering some tips and tricks that you can use if you are a beginner or a novice photo editor. I know for myself, when the very first day that I opened up Adobe Lightroom, I was overwhelmed beyond belief. There was all these tabs and all these buttons and sliders, and I had no idea what to do with any of them. And I was just, playing around with it, getting a feel for the software and the program. But when I really needed to seriously edit a photo for something, I was kind of at a loss until I came across the tools that we're going to talk about today. Oh, we did it! We got a sponsor, everybody. Today's sponsor, Flux. Flux is a clothing brand. Very thankful for all the gear that they've given me as the time has gone by when I started my photography journey here. Flux is some of the softest gear and the softest merchandise that I've ever come across. The hat you've seen in my past videos it's not too tight, very comfortable. I wore it on my trip to Vermont and it kept me nice and warm. Currently I'm wearing the sweater from Flux right now. The sweater is soft and it keeps me warm, but it's not too hot. It doesn't retain so much heat on the inside, but it's soft, it's comfortable. Also, one of the best things that I could say about it is no matter how many times I've worn this and washed it, it has maintained and retained its color and quality the entire time. It hasn't, gotten lighter gray, and it hasn't, got all thin, and the material doesn't feel weird. Absolutely fantastic. If you want to know where you can pick up your own Flux merchandise, you can head over to the link that's going to be below in the description and enjoy. Thank you again, Flux. Very excited for our first sponsor. But with that being said, let's get back to our video for today. Today, like I was mentioning, we are going to be covering one of the best tools that you can have available to you in Adobe Lightroom. Adobe Lightroom is one of the best, in my opinion, platforms you can use to edit photos. Okay, you have so many different options. Like I said, there's so many sliders. There's way to fix colors. There's for saturation and luminance. You can sharpen photos. You can change almost any aspect you want inside of editing a photo here. But the tool that we're going to be talking about today, well, there's two, and the first one we're going to talk about is on the left side of the screen, and it is our presets. Okay, our presets, it's a tab on the side here. We have the navigator, presets, snapshot, history, collections. We're going to open up presets here, and presets, they simply are a predetermined edit that was created that comes with Lightroom. Now you can purchase or download other presets from your favorite photographers and other people. They create their own presets, and you can add them to your own Lightroom and use them whenever you want. But Lightroom does a pretty good job of coming up with their own as soon as you open up the program here. There's tons of different things. There's from creative ones to black and whites, all the way down to playing with the curves of the lights and the shadows here, and they're absolutely phenomenal. It's a great way to see if you can get where you want your photo to be a lot faster than standing around and playing with all the little sliders. The presets, they do a great job of starting to edit a photo, but sometimes they're not always what you're looking for. Another tool, and the tool that I used at the very beginning when I first started to use Lightroom, is on the right side here in the Basics tab. Right above the exposure and contrast box here, there's a little button that's very tiny and it says Auto. And when you click the Auto button, let's watch. It automatically, you know, changes the exposure, the contrast. It, you know, plays around with the highlights, shadows, whites and blacks. It does a lot of things for the photo really fast. Okay, we can hit reset. So we're gonna just go through a couple of photos here and see what happens when you hit auto on just some of these photos. We have this picture of grapes here. You know, we click auto on it like we did, and they got really dark, right? They dropped the highlights here. It dropped the exposure, up the shadows. So this is, sometimes it's not always perfect, but it is, like the presets, a starting point for you. From here you can play around with whatever you want, and it doesn't really touch any of the presence sliders here, like texture or clarity. Like you can do all these other things afterward, but all you needed to do is hit one button, hit the auto button, and it gives you a starting point of where you can edit from. Now, this may not be your style, so this may not be the go-to thing to do, but as a beginner, when you first open up Lightroom and you've never seen any of this stuff before, sometimes knowing that that button is there might be all you need to, get the project done at the time. Let's go to the next photo here we have of this rose. It's the auto button. Okay, it dropped the highlights again, up the shadows. Seems to do that for a lot of them. This time it raised the exposure. This next one of a tunnel. Look at that, it brought back all this detail all the way in the back. All the buildings came back in. The sky was completely blown out before. Right, you hit the auto button, boom, there they all are. Okay. We have this grass path. Okay, brought the clouds back in, brought the detail on the floor, brought the greens back. It was a little too dark, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and then like I said, we could play around with it from there. This boat, not much. It didn't change much. It dropped the highlights. Dropped the blacks a little bit. Brought the sky back in. We have this tree here at a park. Okay, I guess the sun was super bright here in the middle, and it blew out the sky, so it brought the sky back in. It looks very good, very good. And these cherry blossoms. Okay, and it brought them back, raised the exposure on them. So you can see with just a simple click, I have all these different kinds of photos here that just with one click of a button, it automatically, gives you a starting point that you can use to start editing some of your photos. At the same time, after you click auto on them, you can always go back to the presets and still, scroll over the presets here on the left side of the page and see what they do to the photos. Maybe the auto wasn't what you were looking for. Maybe one of these presets could be a starting point for you as well. And with that, you see a little before and after here, like what I was talking about, how it was too dark before. We got the ground back in here and the clouds were almost completely blown out, and now they're back here. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. Also, go ahead and check out my new website. It's going to be in the description box below. And if you want to get your own Flux merch, go ahead, click that link also. Other than that, have a great day.